Finally, we're gonna see Sakata unleash his crazy creation, Dead Season 2, Episode 12. We start this episode off with a recap of the house transforming. Finally, we hit the resume button. Momo asks the question, how do we move this thing? And the kaiju is getting closer. Now, I like that the difference is this time they're inside the Gundam doing that classical cam thing that most Gundam animes do. Sakata is trying to figure out how do you move this thing by referring to the manual, which, as you can see, is connected to the house, which is how it was made. Now, Sakata ends up getting excited with what he's reading and kind of gets sidetracked. At the same time, Momo says, alright everyone, let's all push a button of our choice. Of course, they all press buttons, and once they do, this thing just literally starts blowing itself up. Of course, Sakata does that I'm the captain now meme, and he says, stop it guys. We get to see his computer, and looking pretty crazy. Danger, stealth kaiju, big. Nothing too bad. That's a horn. Those are eyes. I'm a genius. I'm Kenta Sakata. What the heck? Yet again, we get to see Sakata scurry into this manual. All at once, he gets his attention took by this object. So now, finally, this thing has movement. But unfortunately, it ends up falling flat on its face. That's until we get to see Sakata hit a switch and it stands back up. But in reality, we get to see it's just on its knees. This gives the kaiju an opportunity to make its first move. Wham! That's just straight aura. The kaiju's punch makes them fly in the air, and finally they crash back down. Poor Buddhabot has its back on the ground, and the kaiju spins around and takes its tail and grabs their leg. Kaiju lifts Buddhabot up, and it's about to throw it against the ground. While the kaiju is still in mid-move, we get to see that Ken has ejected himself. Now, as Ken is getting ready to land, we see him struggling to get out of the seat. At the same time, Buddhabot is getting beat up by this kaiju. Ken finally is able to free himself, and he starts to worry about Momo. He looks over for a second to see that Evil Eye has also been ejected as well. In just a split second, we get to witness Evil Eye get stomped on by the kaiju. We all know that ain't enough to stop him. He lifts this beast up. In like a Dragon Ball fashion, Evil Eye throws this kaiju backwards. Evil Eye is just so excited about being free, celebrating, and suddenly the impact of this kaiju makes him fly away. Ken gets worried as he witnesses Evil Eye fly and fall down, so he runs over and once he goes in to check out an Evil Eye, he's more worried about facing off against Ken. As Ken and Evil Eye are talking off topic, suddenly they look back at the kaiju. They hear a noise. It is beaming the Buddha bot. Ken is worried. Oh no! Miss Momo and the others are still inside. With it being just Ken himself and Evil Eye, he has to make a difficult decision. Ken gets up and he's made his decision. For just this once, help me, Evil Eye. Right in front of Ken without any reaction, we get to see this kaiju stomp down on Buddhabot. This is what's thought to happen, but it comes to a stop. Sakata then reveals, I finally figured out how to move this thing. As Buddhabot is tussling with this kaiju, it suddenly kicks it right in the face. Sakata is just that guy. He even gets this robot to flip over, which at the same time, he reveals how he's able to make it move. All he has to do is visualize it. Just like that, we have a overpowered version of Henry from Black Clover. Ken is wowed. Regeneration and transformation? Bro's literally turned himself to the main character. Oh yeah, we're back after the opening. Time to get this big fight started. There's no way. Sakata gave the robot shades. As the robot and kaiju both run at each other, we get to see Robot hit it with a big punch. Sakata sits there smug after hitting such a big attack, and he is clearly surprised as this kaiju takes its tail around the robot's wrist. As the kaiju starts to throw the robot, Sakata makes a reverse attack. Frontal punch. Ken and Evil Eye are cheering on the sidelines. That isn't the only attack. We go to Sakata's next. The dealus a chalk. Oh, Sakata, you're so naive. You're not going to defeat this thing so easily. It charges up its beam. As it shoots the robot, somehow it's able to absorb it. As the robot is fighting back this lightning, its arm flies off. Okay, this is just insanity. Sakata gets the robot to pick up the arm, then it throws it straight at the kaiju, as Sakata says, rocket. As the kaiju is falling over, the robot catches its own arm and puts it back on. Oh, how the tables have turned. The robot picks up this kaiju by its tail and starts spinning it in circles. And the kaiju gets flung. Robot starts charging in. This kaiju is barely standing up, and it just charges straight into it. The kaiju just ends up getting pushed back a bit. It suddenly gets ready to attack, and this is whenever Robot dodges and hits it with a big punch. The punch isn't strong enough to knock over the kaiju. Instead, as it lands back down on its feet, it takes its horn and gets ready to jab it at Robot, and now Robot's having to wrestle against it for its life. Neither are able to overpower each other. Instead, the kaiju charges up its laser. We get to see as Sakata is shocked by this horror, and it suddenly cuts to a black screen. As we start back once again, we get to see the true cruelty of what Sakata has to go through. Sad music plays as we get to see what's going on now. The robot is flying. At the same time, we're thrown back into more flashback. Sakata continuously getting bullied. The flashback and what's going on now start to blend. The resolve of Sakata is coming out. As he gets that robot up, he has a thought we all need to learn today. Who cares what people think? Because I love it so much. This is the moment. This is the character empowerment. Leaping in the air, getting ready for the big attack. As he comes down, hits the kaiju. Wham! Love robots. Sakata has been preparing for this moment his whole life. He grabs the kaiju and throws it. The kaiju gets up, looks like it's about to attack, and bam! Right in the face. Sakata uses the robot to do the ultramagnetic wave spin. After such a crazy attack, the kaiju is now missing in front of Sakata. Sakata tries to look on the computer to see what's going on, but out of nowhere, he gets hit right in the face by the kaiju. While Sakata is recovering, he acts all cool and just says he just needs to imagine, and suddenly he gets hit yet again. Now the kaiju is slamming the robot against the ground back and forth. Now the robot is essentially at its last legs. As Sakata is sitting there thinking of what to do, Ken gets on the speaker and he tells Sakata to just eject himself. But because of airbags that keep deploying, Sakata cannot reach the eject button. As Momo wakes up, we get to see that this robot can use the powers of its passengers. This includes Era, who uses her hair on the kaiju, that way they can't lose it. Now, you know the thing about this troublesome trio is that they have a hard time coming together. While that is going on, the kaiju is activating its beam. Era ends up having it covered. She's holding back the kaiju with her hair. Now, we have to regenerate this robot. Sakata's having trouble. Momo suddenly comes in clutch and uses her power to connect the parts. This robot just looks so crazy. Robot grabs the kaiju. They use simultaneously both powers and start twisting it at the same time it's going up into the sky. While in the air, this kaiju is finally able to break through Era's hair. Momo's just had enough of this kaiju, so she says, "You know what, Sakura? This is what you do. You gotta go with the power bomb," as she tosses it down with her big whip power. Once this kaiju hits the ground, it makes a massive impact, and it finally shrinks back. The world is once again back to normal. Funny enough, once they come out of this veil, a bunch of people notice them straight away. To get out of this situation, they imagine the house is now a UFO and ride all the way back at home, which now it just looks like a disaster. I'm just so glad that Sakta was able to make his dreams come to reality. Now this is where the episode takes a rewind. In that crowd, missing was Ken as well as Evil Eye. Ken notices the crowd is seeing this kaiju, and he needs a way to move it. Now, since he'll need help, he goes to see what Evil Eye is doing. He's climbed on top of some tower and he won't come down. Ken ends up with a quick plan. He goes to a market, buys a steaming hot bun, comes back, and Evil Eye is enticed by this. Once he eats it, he turns back to Gigi. Now the two of them are carrying this kaiju together all the way back to Granny's house as a crowd of people follow them. The followers end up getting tired, but they finally made it home. Of course, after Ken and Gigi did one of the most physical tasks, you have Sakata come out and say, "You guys are completely useless." So as Sakata comes out, Ken now needs to explain to him what side he's on, as well as the whole Golden Ball story. Sakata really wants to join this team, but Ken and Gigi are sort of against this. It's not really for him. Now it's time for what we've all been waiting for. Ken looks inside of the mouth of the kaiju. As Ken looks into this kaiju's mouth, he freaks out and falls backwards. This is where the other two are wondering what he saw. I could see part of a person inside its mouth. The three of them then argue on who should go to check it out. Ken's like, okay, I'll do it. He looks down, and this is where he sees a zipper. He then pulls back the zipper to reveal a girl that is an alien? Finally, we get to see this girl wake up. Her antennas sort of turn on at the same time. What the heck is even going on? How are we gonna end the episode like this? Momo and Ara both come out of the house. They were throwing up because of the whole UFO thing. And this is where Momo sees Ken kissing alien girl for some reason. My thoughts on this second season. My favorite content was definitely Evil Eye. Least favorite, oh, and I'm gonna get some hate for this. The whole training arc was just stupid. Musicians, I didn't care for. I thought it was just weird. And it's not the weird that I like. It's just the weird, like, okay, this is just blah. Just blah. Yeah, the song that Ken uses to power up, it's metal, it's cool, but the actual characters that he was using to train, no. Gross. Going on to the kaiju stuff, I thought it was fine. I kind of got sick of seeing the same green. I don't know what it was. It just got tiring after a bit. So I was happy to finally go back to normal for once. Overall, though, it was a pretty cool fight. Got to meet Sakata, and he put the beat down on it. He was a really cool character this season, and I want to continuously see how he grows and fits this team. Is he going to get his own cubes? I would hope so. I don't think him permanently using a house, just like Hendry from Black Clover, like there is a resemblance there, and I think that's just still funny and random in itself. Overall, man, this is not better than the first season, but it is definitely deserving of something to be called the second. If I had to rate it, I'm gonna say it's a nice 9. I feel like a flat 9 is very solid here. At the same time, I wanted to give it more, but I'm like, there is some downsides here. Hopefully, the third season can outdo this. Tell me what you guys' thoughts are on Dan to Dan Season 2, Episode 12. Also, the entirety of Season 2. Hope you stay safe, and until next time, peace out.